Hello, my name is Jerry Lawson. I was born on December 1st, 1940. Growing up, I repaired TV sets for money, and also I was interested in things like electronics, engineering, and just technology overall. In 1960, I attended Brooklyn, New York College. No, I attended Brooklyn, New York College, and I also attended Queens College. In 1975, I created the first arcade game called Demolition Derby. I made this game in my garage. In 1976, I created the first console. We switch the games around. This invention helped to develop other games like Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, and the Atari 2600, which was one of the first consoles and stuff like that. Also, in 1965, I married my wife Catherine, and I had kids in 1975. I had a son and a daughter. In 1970, I worked at the Semiconductor Fairchild Channel, and I died in April 9, 2011 because of diabetes, but my inventions and my legacy will always go on for helping other companies and other consoles to develop their stuff, and yeah.
Hello, my name is Charles F. Page. I was born in 1865, and I passed away in 1937, and I was born into slavery, and later on I was released from slavery, and I moved to Louisiana. That's where I met my wife, and that's when I had the idea to build the aircraft. And my mom. I had found out that my father had passed away, and I moved back to Pennsylvania, and I had to take care of my mom and my 5 siblings. And I had a job at digging coal, and I had a job at digging coal, and I didn't get much really. And to get more money, I had took my aircraft to a fair, and they had took the aircraft, and I never got my aircraft back. And I was not credited for my work, and later on my mom had passed away, and my siblings were all grown up, and yeah.
Hi, my name is James West. I created the microphone in 1961. I was born in 1931 in Virginia. So when I was a kid, I used to always dream of creating things. When I used to create things out of cardboard boxes that I thought was interesting. As soon as I grew up, I went to Temple University to pursue my dream of engineering. When I was younger, though, I used to dream about being a doctor. So while I was in college, I got my doctor's degree too. So engineering and doctors, it took me over 4 years. It took me over 10 years, and it took me over 10 years in college until I left and came back. When I created the microphone, I was happy. I got over 5 awards for it, and I created a chip that it errored and it blew up. So I got sued, and I went to jail. When I came out, I decided to go back and try again. And then that's when I went and I tried again, and then the second time was a success. When I was a kid, my parents didn't have no money, not enough finances. When I didn't have enough finances, my parents asked me to get a job when I was 16. I had a job, the same job until I was 18. When I finished my job, I decided to go. Yeah, that's when I went to college. And if I had anything to say to somebody, I would say, just follow your dreams and try to do anything you want. And thank you.
Hi, I'm Granville T. Woods, and I'm an American inventor. I was born on April 23rd, 1856, and died January 30th, 1910. I was born in Columbus, Ohio. I have siblings. I have one brother named Lyons and a sister named Rachel. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio in a small home. When I was 10 years old, we moved to the other side of town. My parents didn't have a lot of money, so I had to get a job at just the age of 10. My whole family had a high school education, but I majored in engineering. I was a married man, but had no children. My wife, Ava, my wife's name is Ava. Unfortunately, got divorced after my wife, Ava, committed adultery. Our marriage only lasted 1 year. I died at the young age of 53 in New York because of a stroke. I was buried in St. Michael's Cemetery. I've said a lot of quotes, but my most famous quote is, inventors think they have found Edison's successor. He was the first African-American to create the first version of the telephone. I was a little complete in my career. In my younger years, I worked at a steel mill at the age of 10. I was a railroad worker for almost half of my life. I became an inventor in my later years. In 1880, I opened an electrical shop and it became a great success.
Hello, I'm Madam C.J. Walker. I invented the hot comb and the hair glove. I was born on December 23rd, 1867 in Delta, Louisiana. When I was about 7 years old, my parents passed away, so I moved in with my older sister. But however, I worked 2 jobs and married at the age of 14 to escape my abusive brother-in-law. After my husband died, I remarried to a man named John Davis. But after our divorce, I married another man named Charles Joseph Walker, which gave me my last name. Due to my growing success and ambitions, we divorced. And my quotes are, I got myself a start by giving myself a start. There would be no hair-going businesses had I not started it. Perseverance is my motto, and America doesn't respect anything but money. What our people need is a few millionaires.
My name is Lena Horan. I was born June 30, 1917. I'm the first African-American woman to be a songwriter and actor. I wrote the song Love is a Thing, Stormy Weather, I Got Rhythm, and You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. I also played in many movies, such as Cabin in the Sky, 1948, Stormy Weather, 1943, and The Wiz, 1978. My parents were Edna Louise and Edwin Blanchard Horn. My father was a gambler, my mother was an actor. I also have children named Gail Buckley and Edwin Jones. My husband's name is Lenny Hayton. He was a musician. He was born on Valentine's Day, but he later on died April 24, 1971. I was known for my good looks and singing voice. I'm the first black woman to be a songwriter and dancer and actor.
Hello, my name is Augustus Jackson. I made ice cream popular. So let's scoop down to my history. I was born in April 1808, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I grew up with my enslaved family throughout the 1800s. I wasn't always famous for ice cream. I worked for the White House when I was old enough, and I cooked them private desserts and treats. Now we're going to talk about my early life. My early life wasn't really good. My mom wasn't really rich, and she worked in the fields when she was enslaved. I didn't attend any school of any sort, and when I was 9, I was separated from my family to work at the White House. I started to work at my White House at 9 years old. I didn't want to become famous or anything. I wanted to bring joy to the children. I was influenced by someone, but I don't remember. It was someone in my past, probably. My accomplishments are making ice cream without eggs, and my network was so fine that I was one of the wealthiest black men alive. My family life was terrible. My family was enslaved. All my family was enslaved. I was separated from my dad, and my sibling and my mom were only with me. And when I was 6, my parents taught me how to cook. My mom taught me how to cook. And
And when I was 9 to separated from my family, I had to do most of all the work in the White House. Some of my significant quotes are, ever heard of Philadelphia style? I haven't said anything more popular about me. I said this because I wanted to spread my ice cream all around the world to give it all a try. Interesting facts about me is that I was called the father of ice cream even though I didn't invent ice cream. I sell my ice cream for $1 and got rich off of it. At the White House, and I worked at the White House for 20 years. While I was researching about Augustus Jackson, I learned a lot. When I was doing the work, I didn't know who the father of ice cream was, and I also didn't know who made the ice flavors. Now I know. That's what made me motivate to choose him. If he was still alive, I would ask him, why did you stop serving the presidents? This is the end of my project, and Augustus Jackson will say, keep following your dreams.
Hi, my name is Carter G. Woodson, and I was born on December 1872 to untutored parents who were former slaves. My schooling was unstable. My schooling was unstable. I helped my parents on a farm as a young child. When I turned 17, I moved to West Virginia to help my family. When I was at the age of 17, I taught myself my own education at the age of 17. At the age of 20, I got my diploma and finished in 2 years. I became a teacher, also a principal before I got my bachelor's degree in literature. The school, Bremer College in Kentucky, I worked as a supervisor in the Philippines. I have a master's degree from Harvard of Chicago. I was the second Black American from W.E.B. Du Bois. Also a PhD degree from Harvard University. I became the Dean of College Arts and Sciences, and throughout the course of my life, I published many books of Black History Month, including A Century of Negro, 1918, The Education of Negro Career to 1861, 1919, The History of Negro Church, 1921, and the Negro in Our History, 1922, The Devotion to Showcasing the Contributes of Black Americans. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joseph Ballone. I am one of the first Black violinists. I was born on December 25th, 1745 in the French colony of Guadeloupe. At a young age, I attended a fencing academy, which honed my fencing skills and my swordsmanship. Because of my fencing skills, my athletic ability, and my swordsmanship, I soon became the King's Royal Guard in 1767. Although I had a great athletic ability and fencing skills, I decided to pursue a musical career instead. I soon became one of the most sought-after violinists and conductors in France. As my musical career arose, I decided to write symphonies and conduct operas. Throughout my musical career, I inspired artists like Mozart. Unfortunately, because I was a Black man in France, many artists did not want to work with me. In 1798, I suffered a disease which led to my death in 1799, but I will cherish his legacy forever.
Hello, my name is Lonnie Johnson. I'm the inventor of the Super Soaker and an entrepreneur and an aerospace engineer. I was born in 1949 on October 6th. I grew up with my 5 siblings and my parents, David Johnson and Arlene Johnson. I went to Williamson High School and therefore attended Tuskegee University. While at Tuskegee University, after I graduated, I received my master's and bachelor's degree, where I went on after college to work at Oak Ridge National Laboratory for Science, and then I went to go work at NASA for air jet pollution. At NASA, in the bathroom, I came up with the idea of the Super Soaker while attaching a nozzle to the bathroom sink, and that's when I came up with the Super Soaker and the inventor. Now I work on rechargeable batteries. And now I own companies like Johnson Science and Laboratory. Some facts about me: I now mentor kids in Atlanta, Georgia about science, and now I am 72 years old.
and thank you for watching my presentation about Lonnie Johnson.
My name is Mary Jackson. I was born April 9th, 1921. I graduated from Hampton University in Deception in 1944. In 1979, I was graduating from UCLA and the Institute of Hampton, and I was married in November 18, 1944, and I started my career at NASA in 1955. 1955, when I was hired as one of the first human computers doing companions for researchers. In 1951, I joined the West Computers Unit, and I started. In 1979, I left engineering and took the role for manager at the women's program at NASA. In 1958, I became the first black female engineer, and I passed away February 11, 2005.
Hello, I am Hazel Scott, and I was born in the Port of Spain on June 11, 1920. I am the only child of R. Thomas Scott and Alama Long Scott. My parents separated. In 1924, I moved to New York with my mother and grandmother in New York City. Later on, my mother played in an all-women's band to earn money for us. At 13 years old, I joined my mother's band. My dad was a West African American from England, and my mother was a classical pianist and saxophonist. At 13 years old, I joined my mother's band, and at 15, I was on a stage guild called the Basie Big Band. I was the first black woman to host my own TV show in the United States called The Hazel Show in 1950. I was a talent jazz and classic pianist as well as a singer. I played two pianos at the same time, and it was called the Piano Duo. I played in several movies, including Broadway's Rhythm and The Heat's On. I testified before the House Un-American Activities Commitments, refusing to name other artists who were commitments. I died on October 2nd from pancreatic cancer in 1981. But my legacy in music and civil rights continues to inspire.
Hello, my name is Quincy Julian. I was born in 1899. I was born of a black man who was a mail clerk and a mother who was a teacher. I was born of five siblings. And I was not allowed to go to any Negro schools. I was then granted the opportunity. I was granted little opportunity in pursuing, but I ended up going to chemistry. I ended up pursuing the path of chemistry. So at the age of 17, I became a sub freshman at DePaul University. I had to pay for high school and college expenses, but also taking college and high school courses. I then went to DePaul at 1920, and then began researching. And in 1923, I ended up graduating from DePaul with a bachelor's degree and became top of my class. And I ended up working at Glidden. And I researched many things. At Glidden, I researched soybean products and had a company. While researching, I ended up discovering how to synthesize coordinating, which allowed me to gain popularity and became world renowned. I ended up making a company called Percy Julie Laboratories, which I then sold for $2 million and became one of the Black Nationals, and I ended up dying soon after selling the company.
Hello, my name is Lewis Hamilton. I was born January 7th, 1985. In Stephenburg, England. When I turned 8, my dad bought me my first go-kart. And I loved my go-kart so much, so I honed my skills of go-kart driving. After that, when I turned 10, I entered the British Race Car Driving Championship. And I won. I won this trophy right here. At 13 years old, the McLaren F1 race car driving team invited me to their team. And after that, I knew that I was gonna pursue F1 race car driving. In 2007, I made my race car driving debut. And when I did that, I ranked 3rd place in the world title. Only in my 2nd year, the next year after that, in 2008, I got my first title at just 23 years old, and it was the world title against everyone in the world. After that, I knew that my racing was gonna help me out in life. So I didn't stop there. I went to win over hundreds of races. And I made over $300 million earned. Now, I'm 40 years old, and I still race. Now I race for Ferrari. And I'm knighted by the king. and I love racing. And that's me.
Hi, my name is Gladys West. I was a mathematician. And I helped to create the GPS. I was born in 1930. I have 6 siblings, and I worked at the Navy Surface Center. There were 4 other African Americans who worked there. And that's where I met my husband, Ira West. We got married in 1957. I was really good at math, and I was at the top of my class. I had a degree in math, a master's degree, and a PhD. I had to work with racist people. I did computer programming. That helped with creating the GPS, and I also programmed the satellites to find sea levels and ocean heights. I am now 94 years old.
Hello, my name is Sister Rosetta Dark. I was born on March 20th in 1915 on a cotton plantation in Arkansas. I was the daughter of farm laborers, my father, Will Arkins, and my mother, Kate Harpins Aikens, a singer, which was also a mandolin player, who was also a deacon missionary and one speaker to God. When I was 4, I began to play the guitar. When I was 6, I sang gospel songs with my mother and with an evangelist group that traveled around the West. As I grew older and the more developed, I decided that I was going to share my talents beyond the church. In 1935, I married my first husband at the age of 19 years old. I divorced in 1938, and then I moved to New York from Arkansas. When I was living in New York, I performed both at the Cotton Club and the Apollo Theater. I was one of the first gospel soloists to sing there. In 1941, I began to produce my own music. I also sang and produced with the band Swing Band Lucky Miller Orchestra. I worked with Miller until 1943, recording hits like 4 and 5, which was one of my songs. Most of my songs were gospel songs, but it was also mixed with most of my songs are gospel songs, but my other songs are mixed with jazz and blues. So the church backlashed me for my musical style. Because some of the songs were not Christian. I performed in 1946. I was a seasonal performer at a concert at Golden Gate Ballroom in Halem. I met Knights, and I made music together. The music like Didn't Ray, one of my top songs. In 1951, I got married to my manager, Russell Morrison, and my second and final wedding was also a concert because people were there. And Maureen Knights was one of my bridesmaids. Though my relationship was complex, I stayed together with him until 1973. We had no children.
Hello, my name is Lowell Perry. I was born December 5th, 1931 to Lawrence C. Perry. He was a dentist and a respected civil rights leader. At Ysplanty Community High School, I played track. I ran track. I played baseball, basketball, and football. From 1950 to 1952, I played football at the University of Michigan while majoring in history. In 1953, I was drafted into the NFL by the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 8th round, 91st overall pick. Then in 1950, but my career was held up due to ROTC training. While at ROTC, I got to the rank of a second lieutenant. When I got back to the NFL, I was a good NFL player, but then in my 6th game of my career, I dislocated my hip and I fractured my fibula. After I recovered, I became the first African-American coach in the NFL in 1953. Then in 1966, I became the first African-American broadcaster to broadcast an NFL game. I broadcasted along Joe Tucker. Then in 1973, I became the first African-American plant manager for Chrysler. Then in 2001, I died from natural causes at the age of 70.
Hello, my name is Debbie Allen. I was born January 16, 1950. I'm 75 years old. I'm an award-winning dancer, actor, producer, singer, and writer. I have 20 Emmy Awards and 2 Tonys, along with 4 doctorates in dance. I hold a bachelor degree in fine arts and classical Greek studios from Howard University. That's where I went to college. I faced a lot of discrimination as a black woman trying to dance and sing in movies. I also got put down a lot for my skin color. I am passionate about inspiring the younger generation about being able to do what they want in their skin color and be able to follow their dreams. I have a Debbie Allen Dance Academy in Los Angeles currently, and I have world-class training to help younger kids be able to dance and have training to be able to act and go up to people and perform in different movies. I have my husband, Norm Nixon, where I have 3 children with him, and my parents, Vivian Ayers and Andrew Allen, which I have 3 siblings, Felicia Rashad, Andrew Allen, and Hugh Allen. My most known movies, popular movies, and shows I played in are Fame and Grey's Anatomy, where I not only acted, but I also directed and produced. Thank you.
My name is Shirley Ann Jackson. I was born August 5th, 1946 in Washington, D.C. At high school, I took advanced math classes and science classes, then graduated as valedictorian at Roosevelt High School in 1964. After I graduated high school, I applied to learn and conduct my studies at MIT. I was the first African American woman to earn a doctorate at MIT. I was also the second African American woman to earn a doctorate in physics in the United States. After I graduated, I decided to further conduct my research at Bell Laboratories from 1970 to 1980. During my time there, I contributed to 6 inventions, including the touch telephone, caller ID, fiber optic cables, and call waiting, the portable fax machine, and solar cells. However, I did not directly invent these items. In 1999, I became the 18th president of RPI. In 2007, I became the first African American woman to receive the Vannevar Bush Award. During Obama's presidency, I was awarded the National Medal of Science. Some fun facts about me is that I have 57 honorary degrees, and one of the first black women to serve on the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. If I were to share any advice with others, it would be, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you want it to be respected, don't disrespect others. In spite of what people think, revolutions don't happen overnight.
My name is Donye Williams. I was the first black cardiologist. I was born January 18th, 1856. I was raised in Holliesburg, Pennsylvania. I live with my parents, Donye Williams Jr. and Sarah Prince Williams, along with 5 sisters and 1 brother. I was 9 years old. My father died, resulting to my mother unable to provide for my whole entire family. Then I moved closer to my relatives. While I was staying with my relatives, I became an apprentice to a shoemaker in Baltimore, Maryland, but soon ran away to rejoin my mother in Rockford, Illinois. I later moved to Wisconsin, where I joined my sister and opened up a barbershop. Later, I began my path, and I became an apprentice in Henry W. Palmer, studying for 2 years. In 1880, I entered Chicago Medical College, now known as Northern University Medical School. After graduation from Northwestern in 1883, I opened my own medical office in Chicago, Illinois. I was prohibited to work in American's private hospital. As a result, in 1891, I founded Providence Hospital, which Providence and training residents for benefits African Americans to be able to increase their access to healthcare. In 1893, I became the first American to successfully perform heart surgery. I married Allison Johnson in 1898. She was the daughter of Moses Jacob Ezekiel, who was a Jewish American sculptor. Also, there is no record of her mother, but she was known as a maid. I had no children. On August 1931, I had a stroke and died in my own retirement home in DeWitt, Michigan.
Hi, my name is Mark Hanna. My favorite subject in school is science, like Mark Hanna. In 2022, Mark Hanna did an interview with the Computer History Museum and started math and science was always his favorite subject in school. Mark Hanna was born October 13, 1956 in Chicago, Illinois. He became an African-American electric engineer. Mark Hanna was also a graphic designer. His parents' names are Eppes and Hubbard Hanna, and Mark Hanna grew up in Chicago, Illinois for most of his life. Mark Hanna's mom, Eppes, was a teacher. Mark Hanna's dad was an accountant. Mark Hanna was one in 5 siblings in Hanna's family. Mark attended Stoutfield University and Willie instinct of technology while attending the Lilly Institute of Technology. He started electric engineering. Hannah received his BS degree in electric engineering in 1977 at Stanford University. He attained his MS degree in 1978 and PhD degree at SGI was a member of Technical Stuff and co-founder of the company Mark Hannah started his career in 1977. Hannah had important projects. His projects included working on television commercials and creating for Monday Night Football. In 1987, Mark Hannah was presented with the Performance Attendant Award for association, and in 1988 he received the Black Engineer Year Award in his technical finding and in the invention of 3D imaging and special effects. He was known for making 3D chips and creation company programs like Personal IRS, Indigo 2, and Landon Graphics. Indigo and Indigo 2 were two of the most known company and well-known graphic workstation of their era. I was motivated to research and learn about Hannah because I think graphics are important in movies, and he did movie graphics for Jurassic Park, Terminator, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast. In conclusion, if I could think of one question to ask Mark Hannah, if I ever got the chance to meet him in person, I would ask what gave him the idea to create the CGI.
Hello, my name is Mark Dean. I was born to parents James and Barbara Dean on March 2nd, 1957. I've always admired my father, building things with him like tractors and other stuff. In middle school, I decided on my career that I want to be a computer engineer. In high school, I was a star student and stellar athlete. That helped me get into the University of Tennessee, where I graduated there with an electrical engineering degree. Once I graduated, I started my career at IBM in the Boca Raton location located in Florida in 1980. My first project was making word processor adapters. After that, I was then added to Project Chess, a project that helped make the IBM home PC. In my career, I worked on many things. I've also had many honors, like becoming an IBM fellow in 1985. I worked on the making the 1 gigahertz chip, which made computers like this today. This is a MacBook Pro representation. I ended my career in 2010 after 30 years, which I was honored with many things. I now currently work at the University of Tennessee. I'm a 67-year-old. I've done a lot of things in my career. I've gained a lot of honors too, like being in the National Black Engineer Inventors Hall of Fame.
My name is George Washington Carver. I was born in Missouri in 1864. I had a bad childhood, but it was inspiring. So what happened was, as a baby, me and my mother was kidnapped by raiders. I was the only person that was found, and since my dad died to a farm accident, I got returned to the Carver family. So my last name is now Carver. While growing up, after abolishment of slavery, I was treated as like an actual real kid instead of just like another slave kid. But I still faced discrimination and racism. However, I was so dedicated to getting an education. At 11 years old, I left home and went searching for schools to accept the African American. So, at 15 years old, I found a school in Minneapolis High. I did good in Minneapolis High, and I'm good at Minneapolis High, and I eventually graduated to go to Simpson College. I was the first person to ever get accepted to Simpson College, the first black person. So after then, I had a teacher that recognized my great skills in plants, and she saw my potential to become a botanist. And that's eventually when I graduated. I transferred to Iowa State University. So in Iowa State University, I did great in the science class, and I ended up getting my bachelor's science degree. After I got my bachelor's science degree, I became a botanist, and I was very good in it. And Booker T. Washington saw how good I was at farming and stuff like that. And I became a teacher assistant and started teaching for 47 years straight to black farmers, to black scientists. I was good in crop rotation, and I was good at putting nitrogen inside the soil to make it enhancements to it. And that actually led to me making 300 inventions and products off sweet potatoes, peanuts, and soybeans. I created things like peanut butter, glue, candy, medicine, plastic, fuel, and paper. I came down with anemia, which is depletion of your red blood cells, and you can't absorb oxygen the right way. So all the money I got from all my heritage, I put into the Tuskegee Museum before I died, and then I died by health issues. Dang, I died by health issues by the anemia, and I eventually fell down the stairs and died on January 5th, 1943.
My name is Jesse Eugene Russell. I was born on April 24th, 1948 in Nashville, Tennessee. My mother's name is Mary Russell. My father's name is Charles Russell. During my childhood, I faced discrimination and poverty. That changed when I went to a summer education program at Fisk University. At Fisk University, it pushed me towards intellectual and academic pursuits. I then went to college at Tennessee and Stanford University. At Tennessee State University, I earned my bachelor's degree. And then at Stanford University, I earned my master's degree. What led me to creating the cell phones was just a simple realization. I thought, instead of only having phones and cars, why not just have them on people? Why not just have them on people? This insight led to the foundation of the creation of the cell phones. My legacy helped inspire giant brands like Apple and Samsung. I also created my own company called Ink Networks. Ink Networks is a 4G broadband company. Ink Networks is my private company. We provide software, wireless broadband communications, and smart grid communications. Ink Networks has an annual revenue of $810,000. I am still enjoying my life today at 76 years old in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Hello, my name is Patricia Bath, and I was born on November 4th, 1942 in New York City. My parents were Gladys and Rupert Bath. I invented the device and technique for cataract surgery called laser phaco. While I was growing up, I developed a love for books, science, and travel. My mother encouraged my dream of becoming a doctor and bought my first chemistry set. I faced many obstacles like sexism and racism in my work field. I attended Howard University of Medicine, Hunter College, UCLA, and Charles Drew University. While actively experiencing sexism and racism at Charles Drew University, and that's it. I decided to go to Europe to continue my research because I didn't want them to mess up my research for cataract surgery. So I continued my research there, and I continued to work at the Laser Medical Center of Berlin, West Germany, and the Rothschild Eye Institute of Paris, France. At those institutes, I excelled in my research in laser science. So my greatest achievements are creating the device and technique for cataract surgery, being the first woman to chair an ophthalmology residency program in the United States, and being the first African-American ophthalmologist to be appointed to the facility of the University of California at the Los Angeles School of Medicine called the Jayleen Eye Institute. In 1970, I got married to Benny J. Prim, and in 1972, I had my first daughter named Erica Bath. And on May 30th, 2019, I sadly passed away at the age of 76 years old from cancer at the UCSF Medical Center in San Francisco, California.
Hello, my name is Gilbert Scott Huron. I was born in 1949, April 1st, Chicago, Illinois. My parents' names are Bobby Scott Huron and Gil Scott Huron. My parents divorced when I was younger, and I had to live with my grandparents. My dad was a professional soccer player, and my mom was a singer. I attended Lincoln University, and that's when I began to meet my friend, Byron Gaskin. And we began to make music together. We made a band called the Black Blues. And yeah, and then we made songs like the B-Movie. We made songs like the B-Movie, The Revolution is Televised, and many more songs. Kendrick Lamar also sampled my song and many other artists. My significant lover was named Brenda Skies. We've been married for 27 years, and I have 4 children. Their names are Gia Scott Huron, Rakaya Kelly Huron, Shagina Huron, and Kelly Huron. Their ages are also 36. They are also 36, 40 years old, and 44, and 34 years old. They are still alive to this day, but I am not. I passed away in May 27, 2011. I died because I really do not know what I died to. I was in Egypt when I was on a trip to Egypt. I began feeling sick, and then they rushed me to the hospital, and they pronounced me dead. I was also known as the Godfather of rap. I was also influenced by Malcolm X and Langston Hughes. That's what motivated me to write my songs. That's my life of Gilbert Scott Huron.
Hello, my name is Booker T. Washington. I'm an educator, author, and civil rights leader. I was born on April 5th, 1856 with my 2 siblings, John H. Washington and Amanda Washington. My mother, Annette Natalie, was the cook of the plantation. When I was 9, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation Act of 1863. After this, me and my family moved to Madeline, West Virginia, where we lived in poverty, and that prevented me from getting a good education. After this, I went to Hampton Normal and Agriculture Institute, where I worked as a janitor to pay school fees. Then I attended college, then I attended Wayland Seminary in Washington, D.C. Then I started my real educating career in 1881, where I became the first president of Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute. At the time, there were only 2 small buildings and little equipment, but with my direction, it has become worth over $2 million when I died. Under my teachings, black people not only learn academics but skilled trades. I believe that by providing needed skills to society, African Americans would eventually gain full participation in society by acting as responsible, reliable American citizens. I died November 14th, 1915. I am buried at Tuskegee University.
Hi, I am Catherine Dunham. I was born on June 22nd of 1909, and I died May 21st of 2006 at 96 years old. My mom died when I was 4 years old, and my dad wasn't really around because he had to work for me to go to school and stuff in college. So yeah, and some fun facts about me, and yeah, I choreographed a lot of dances throughout my history, and I started my dance career when I was in high school.